Hey cuties, it's your journaling partner Rihanna DeHart, and welcome back to the show, or welcome to the show. I am talking about anniversaries today, but it's not just romantic anniversaries, if that's what you're thinking. So even if you don't have a romantic partner right now, this episode could still be for you. So keep listening. I promise I got some good things in store. I will say the reason I chose anniversaries as the topic is because me and my boyfriend just celebrated our 7-year anniversary, and it just sparked such a journaling idea. So I had to share. I always love making cute little gifts, handmade gifts that Connor, my boyfriend, can keep. And this year, I thought of something that both of us can keep and kind of create our own time capsule journal together. Really, any journal is like a time capsule, which I love just because it holds all of these memories. And then I feel like when you finish a journal, you sometimes, at least for me, when I finish a journal, I put it away because I'm not actively using it anymore. I'm not adding to it. And then I just kind of forget about it because it's all the things that happened in the past. And then randomly a few years go by and then I see it and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I like? What was I doing? What did I add in my journal? Let me look. And you basically have your own little time capsule in a journal, which is so cute. And so I started our own journal. I actually started this journal in 2020. It is currently 2025. So I have had this journal for 5 years with the intention of making something for me and my boyfriend. I literally, if I flip to the first page, which I will, it's my first journal entry, and I wrote a letter to him. This was, right before I started my freshman year of college. So we were about to do long distance for the very first time, and I think that's what sparked me to make this journal in the first place, was because I knew I wasn't always gonna have all the in-person time that I wanted with him. I did a few entries. I'll tell you about them. One was just like a little journal entry of a date that we went on before we had to go say goodbye for the first time for our freshman year of college. Then I added a little page with a bunch of pictures of what movies and TV shows we were watching together throughout that year, or since we started dating. Yeah, because I have the very first movie that we watched when we started dating. Before we started dating, whoa. The movie where we held hands together for the very first time. Wow, so cute. And then like the first TV show that we watched together, which was Friends. And I have a couple movie tickets saved in here. Look at me junk journaling before I knew what junk journaling was. Okay, girl. And then I made a page of some of our favorite songs that we kind of like to call our songs. Our favorite one was If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys. Of course. And then I have a couple more entries, letters that I wrote to Connor that year. And then I think I just wasn't feeling creative enough to continue it. Maybe I was feeling cringy about doing it. I don't know. So then I saw that I wrote one entry in 2022. I guess I just decided to pick up the journal again, and I was like, yeah, we should do this again. And then I stopped again. So we are now in 2025, and I'm doing long distance with him again. And especially with doing this podcast, I have just so many ideas in my head for how to journal and what creative ideas I can put on a page. So I am now super inspired to continue this journal and actually fill it out. And since I missed so many years of filling out this journal, I made some collages and some spreads in here that I will show you at the end and I'll tell you about. at the end of this episode, but I titled it Rihanna and Connor Through the Years. But why am I making this a whole episode? I mean, a big reason people journal is to keep those big moments in their life documented and to capture those memories before they forget it. Like, I have probably said this before, but there is something so special to me about writing in the moment or writing right after I have an experience or go on a trip or going through emotional moments where you get so many details, so many little details that could easily be forgotten in the future. Like, I grew up with my mom making scrapbooks, which I love and appreciate so much because it's so cute to look back at little old me and seeing all these family and friends pictures and what I accomplished. And I have my first 100 words written out. That's so cool. I think my first word was juice. I think I'm remembering that correctly. But like, no one would have really remembered my first 100 words if they weren't written down for me to look at later. With all that being said, I think it's such a fun idea to make a journal with the intention of gifting it to someone else or to share a full journal with someone. Like I was describing with how I'm going to share this journal with my boyfriend. Obviously, this would be a different journal than the one where you keep all of your secrets and your personal entries that you don't want anyone to see. It really depends on your preference and what you want to do. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer of either having one journal that you use or multiple journals that you use. You know, having that journal ecosystem, which I actually just learned about. And so now I need to make a bunch of journals ASAP. However, it might be a lot of money to upkeep lots of journals. So I'm still deciding what kind of journals I want to specifically have and if I can pay for those many journals, you know? Because I've seen some videos of people showing their journal ecosystems and they have their main journal, which is like their diary, the more personal journal that they're not going to share with anyone. And then they have a junk journal with all the pretty spreads. And then they have a travel journal. And those are the main ones. Those are the main ones I see. But people have like book journals, food journals, all of that stuff. And I think that is really cool. So my journal with my boyfriend is my first addition to my journaling ecosystem. One thing I recently remembered was when my friends Ben and Olivia got married, I gave Olivia a journal for them as her bachelorette gift, which, okay, it was not the only gift that I gave her for her bachelorette. I know what you're supposed to give the bride for her bachelorette party. Don't you worry. She got that gift as well. But this was just an additional thing that I wanted to give to her because one, I'm a sentimental girly. And it was the first time I had given someone a journal. But in it, I wrote a little entry to her and Ben. And I just said that this is just for you guys to use to remember to document all of the adventures and experiences that you have together as you start this amazing journey together. And I have no idea if they've used it or not. I hope they have. I mean, if they listen to this, let me know. Let me know if you're listening. Let me know if you've started using it or not. But I think it's such a sweet idea. Even if it's not something that's being used consistently throughout the year, it can be something that you can come back together and reflect on how each year of marriage has been. I will say I have forgotten to do this for my other friends who got married. So, apologies for that. I forgot. But I want to start doing that again because I think it's such a great way to reflect on your relationship, to check in with yourselves and start life together. Okay. I'll stop talking about the romantic anniversaries now because I do have several other ideas of what type of anniversaries you can make a journal for. First is for your best friend. Just having that with your best friend and collecting all of the memories that you've made together, or having it for your friend group. Now, I've seen this idea before. I don't know who originally came up with the idea of making a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but journal style. But I think that is such a cute idea. I will be honest, I haven't watched that movie in such a long time, so I don't fully remember everything that happened. But with what I can remember, they had one they had pants, jeans that they would ship to each other, and those jeans fit every single friend perfectly. They were the best jeans ever. I think, oh, if I did they like stitch, is that the right word? Did they embroider stuff on the jeans? Stuff like that? I can't fully remember, but I think they did. Anyways, you get the point. They sent the pants to each other and just kept rotating between all the friends. And that's exactly what you would do with the journal. I think it might get a little pricey. Say if you guys are long distance friends, which I am with so many of my friends, and it's so sad. So you would have to see if you could budget that. I'm not really sure how much it would cost to ship a journal. I just think it'd be really fun, especially if you're long distance, because you don't get to see each other all the time. So, I mean, maybe it's something if you did this with a group of friends and you had to ship it to each other. Maybe it's something that you rotate like every few months or so it's not super often, or maybe every time that you see each other in person, you switch the journal, something like that. Other anniversaries that you could focus on for a journal is relating to family. So maybe if you have annual trips or reunions that you do with your family and you just want to remember that throughout your life, getting to do that would be really fun. And then also if you have kids, just making a journal for them growing up or for them going to school. I definitely want to do this if I become a mom, because I think it would be so cute if you wrote a letter to your kid every single year to just tell them what they're like or how much they've accomplished or how proud you are of them. So then you can give this journal to them when they turn 18, when, they're heading off to college or they're starting a job or they're moving out for the first time. It would just be so sweet for them to see that whole journal filled with a bunch of letters from you and all the mementos or pieces of art that they made, and just seeing how much they've grown. Ugh, I would sob. I would. That would be so cute. Okay. Another anniversary that you could keep track of is for your company or your business that you've created. So seeing every single year how you've grown and developed your business, that would be so cool. Or also starting at the very beginning of writing your brainstorming sessions in there, seeing the progress of the struggles you had to go through to get to starting your business, to the opening day or your brand launch. That would be so cool to see the very start of it to all of the success that you have in the future. And lastly, you can do anniversaries with yourself. Things that you want to celebrate every year and that you're proud of. Maybe it's when you decided to become sober, or if you decided to move to a new city and you're about to start an adventure of living in a new city for the next 5 years. Okay, hold on. I hear an airplane. Do you hear the airplane? I'm just gonna wait. Fly safe. Okay. And we're back. I feel like the anniversaries that are for yourself and the things that you've accomplished or the new adventures that you're going on with yourself, most of the time people put that in their regular diary, their main journal. So that is totally understandable if it's just something that you want to keep in your main journal. But it could be a cool idea if you wanted to separate the progress that you've made with this certain aspect of your life. You have a choice to separate that and to make your own journal for that. Okay, so it's time to show you and tell you about the collages that I made for me and my boyfriend. The through the year collages. Each page, I made a collage of pictures from each year that we've been together. Okay, so here's my first page. And yes, I literally just printed out pictures from Walgreens and then I cut ourselves out of the picture because there was no way all of those pictures in the backgrounds were going to fit on this page. So it's literally just cutouts of me and Connor, and I collaged them onto a page, which I think is so cute. And it's super simple. I didn't really add anything else except for little descriptions of what we were doing, where we were, or what was important in that year relating to the photos. I don't have one of those fancy like sticker or photo printers, the handheld ones. I wish I did. I do have a Polaroid printer, but it didn't feel like the vibe of the pages that I was thinking about in my head. So I chose to use Walgreens instead. And yeah, so for the first year, we were juniors in high school, super little. But I had to add the cheesy dance proposals. So for homecoming and for prom, oh my gosh, on the volleyball. So he gave me a volleyball. It says, "I'll be set if you went to homecoming with me." Okay. I was the setter on the volleyball team, so super fitting. Also, yes, maybe that's cringy, but oh my gosh. Yeah. 16-year-old me loved that. And I love it now. It's so adorable. It's so high school. Okay. The second year, COVID happened, so I feel like there aren't as many pictures, but that's okay. We still had really good memories. But yeah, COVID happened. So there was a chunk of time where we were not allowed to see each other because the lockdown. We were seniors in high school. I think it's so funny. We started dating in August, which lines up with the academic calendar year. So that's funny. That's how I keep track of it, of what grade we were in. Which I can't really do. I can't do anymore. We're not in school anymore. We're adults. We're adults. Wow. Okay, but the third year was freshman year of college, and also the first time that we had to do long distance. Also the first time that I started this journal. Okay, for our fourth year, we were sophomores in college, and finally Connor got to come on campus this year, so a lot more pictures were added here. And then our fifth year was junior year of college, and also the year that I think we had our most iconic Halloween costume, which was Wesley and Princess Buttercup from The Princess Bride. Yeah, we ate. Connor thinks that our most iconic one was the year before. We were Devil and Angel, but I think I'm right. I do believe I'm right. Also, I thrifted my entire costume. Snaps for myself. Snaps. I know. Okay, then the sixth year was our senior year of college, so a lot of graduation and a lot of celebrating. And then here's our seventh year, which we are now doing long distance again, but I love to see this and just see how much effort we've put into having memories together and seeing each other. Like we got to meet up in Nashville, we got to go to Michigan. Like that is so fun, and I love that I get to capture all of these memories in here. And then we have the rest of the journal to fill out together. So yeah, I did tell him I I was debating if I wanted to tell him or keep it a secret, until I completed the journal. But I decided I wanted to tell him because I think it would be fun to fill out together and to kind of have turns of what we would want to put in here because I have so many ideas. And that's what I want to tell you before I wrap up this episode are ideas of what to put in this journal if you have felt inspired to create your own journal for any type of anniversary. Or you can take any of these ideas and just put it in your main journal if you want to. So first are obviously collages of photos and putting those photos in there. And that would kind of resemble a photo album and it feels super simple. You just have to print them out and glue them in. And another idea is to write letters to each other. So this is something that would kind of keep a little bit of secrecy to the journal. Okay, I need to explain this with a spread that I put in my main journal. And I have an episode about this. It's about celebrating yourself. So go check that out if you want to. But on my last birthday, I went to the beach and I wrote 2 letters to myself and I literally put the envelopes in my journal and I wrote letters to myself and I sealed them in the envelopes. So one is the reasons that I'm proud of myself and the other one is a letter to my 24-year-old self. So it says to open on your 24th birthday, which is next year. So it's kind of giving that time capsule vibe of you have something to open in the future. And I think that would be so cute to do in my journal with Connor, to where we write letters to each other and we don't open it for maybe a year or a few years. And then other ideas are to journal about the trips that you go on and to collect mementos and make junk journaling pages from maybe a date night that you had or an experience that you got to go and try together, or like I just said, a adventure or vacation that you guys went on together. Other pages that you can make are a list of your guys' favorite movies, a list of your current favorite music, maybe the song that currently makes you think of your partner, or write down date ideas, maybe have an alphabet, maybe have an ABC date page. So you have to fill out what dates you can go on that start with every letter of the alphabet. Or you could have a page of just the ABCs, and then every time you go on a date, you can fill in each letter to see if you can complete all of the alphabet. Now, these can easily be switched and altered to what type of anniversary journal that you're gonna do. So if it's with your friends, if it's with your family, if it's for yourself, if it's for your company. I mean, for company too, like, yeah, just get creative with it. Maybe have a bingo board of your goals in your journal so then you can cross it off throughout the year, or have a little stats page, a yearly stats page of how things are going, or maybe a end of the year yearbook page so everyone that's on your business team can leave a little message and sign their name so that you know who was with you throughout your business journey. Things like that. So many ideas. I'm so excited to fill mine out, and I hope that you guys are inspired to make one yourself. If you are going to make one, let me know which type of anniversary journal you make. Feel free to leave a comment on any of my social medias, which will be written in the description in the show notes. Or also, I think you can comment on Spotify and YouTube. So yeah, feel free to let me know what kind of journal you guys are going to make, or what ideas you really loved and think that you would want to add to your journal. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me that you are listening to my show. And if you're enjoying this show, I would love and appreciate any reviews that you could give me, especially 5-star reviews. That would just help me so much. I hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!